Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly for pricing. My email is tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing a 12-piece stainless steel limited edition launched in 2019 from Louis Moinet. This is the Moon, with a piece of actual moon rock anchored at 3 o'clock on the dial, and of course the lunar landscape at center. It is an extravagant and large timepiece at 45.4 millimeters in diameter, 15.1 millimeters thick, and 52.6 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip, with a 24 millimeter spacing between the lugs. The timepiece is sensational in its style and its size. It is a large watch, and on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, you can see this elaborate dress timepiece, and it is, properly speaking, a large dress timepiece. It takes up just about all the real estate. I would say you need a wrist of at least 15 centimeters circumference or larger to wear this watch, and I would actually recommend that your wrist be no smaller than mine. You can see on a 16 centimeter circumference wrist, it pretty much does push right up to the edge. It's not perhaps as thick as you'd expect, but it is a hulking presence on the wrist, so it's anything but anonymous. Now, taking a look at the hardware and the software, we have a high grade of strap fitted. You can see it is high gloss, with a light reddish brown, large rectangular scale alligator leather with a lightly contrasting stitch. You can see the edge of the strap has been folded, and then it's been bolstered very slightly to give it some volume. On the underside, you have small round scale alligator leather, as with FP Journe, Chopard, and de Bethune, which all use this style. Having gator on both sides is a more expensive but longer lasting tactic, so the strap costs more but it also lasts longer. We have pull tab spring bars, and those allow you to remove the strap without any resort to tooling, so you don't have to worry about marring the lugs when you do swap your straps. We have a full deployant clasp. You see a fleur-de-lis, Louis Moinet, named after an ancient watchmaker and revived for practical purposes in its current form back in 2004. Now you can see there's a twin trigger release system for the double deployant clasp, which ensures that the clasp will stay shut. You have to press both of the triggers to open it, and this provides you security against accidentally dropping your watch. You can see that the fitments for the bars that hold the strap in place, they are actually designed to look like the jewel settings on pocket watches, the old chaton fixed in place by screws with jewels at center. And that would be a feature of vintage pocket watch movements, and Louis Moinet has transposed that look onto the edges of its lugs. The case is all of high polish. It's got a bowl profile diminishing as you move away from the bezel, and you can see the name of the brand in the flank. You can also see that the lugs are beautifully evacuated to visually lighten the impression this watch makes. It is a hulking presence on a wrist of any size. To be honest, it never looks petite or proportional, so opening up the lugs helps to reduce that sense of ponderous mass. It's big, but it's not without grace. I should also mention that you can see there's the fleur-de-lis inside the crown, and there's a little bit of a three-dimensional aspect to the crown. 3 dimensions. You've got the fleur-de-lis over a black gloss base, so there's some depth to the crown as viewed from head-on. It's a relatively narrow crown with sharp knurling for an easy grip, and then we have a bezel atop a bezel, as we have this large satinated component that sits fixed by visible screws atop a black polished dial, or I should say bezel base, sort of like a plinth underneath. The watch, which is illumined, allows you to read minutes, seconds, and hours. Then we have that moon rock at 3 o'clock. We have a overlay featuring polished rose gold chapterings. You can see the polished rose gold that rings this sort of, I would say, lattice work that's laid down over the dial base. And the dial base is elaborately fashioned to recreate the lunar surface. You can see the Louis Moinet fleur-de-lis and appliqué logo at center with the name Louis Moinet, and of course the date of the original historic Louis Moinet, 1806, down at 6 o'clock. You could see the escapement and the balance beating from the dial side. You can see we have small seconds here. Everything floats, giving it a very airy and three-dimensional appearance. You can see there's a chaptering outboard, black and gloss, against which minutes can be read. And then we flip it over, and you can see the Louis Moinet caliber that they call Louis Moinet 45. It's based on a Concepto automatic, and the dead giveaway is that we have Concepto's eccentric screw regulator. That's a very distinctive component over the balance. It's nicely executed. You can see there's a handsome pattern on the rotor, several different finishes on the rotor, and several different textures, tones, and colors. It winds automatically with a 48-hour power reserve. It does feature hacking or stop seconds should you wish to stop the works. Pivots on 22 joules, and it beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour. You can see the finish is handsome and extensive. It's roughly equivalent to what you would find on a mass-produced Audemars Piguet or Jaeger-LeCoultre movement, and impressively for a dress watch, you can see that the 50-meter water resistance is over and above the 20 to 30 meters that is standard in the dress watch class. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this 12-piece limited edition Louis Moinet Moon.